Our last panelist is Gérard from Électricité de France, EDF. EDF is also among the initiators of this panel. Now, as a global energy company, we would like to understand why you see it as so important to take a more integrated approach.
Well, thank you. Maybe if you go back to the case that is in the book, case number 7, which is from Serre-Ponçon to Nanteuil, you would think, what the hell is the relation between a very Frenchy dam that was built in the 50s and 60s and Nanteuil, which were built and which was commissioned last year in Laos? Well, as a matter of fact, it's exactly the same thing, and it gives the answer to your question. How do we consider the situation about all these water dams and what is their impact in the water, food and energy nexus? If I make it short, I wouldn't go into the details of each of these 2 projects. I just want to focus, because I think we're a little bit late, I just want to focus on the lessons we learned from both Serre-Ponçon and Nanteuil. Number 1, what is really at stake? Is it to know which is the right ministry? Is it to know which is the right governor? Who's the right governor? It is to know what is the right process? Not. The answer, and if we want to make a little step forward in the term of taking the nexus, the solution to the nexus, is the final consumer. Where the final consumer is African, is from India, wherever in the world. Listen to the consumer and try to build a solution which is a multi-purpose solution with the consumer. What is now the governance of Serre-Ponçon in France is really an example of what you can do with farmers, with people in charge of tourism, with end users, and it is this way that you can have a sustainable, long-term, by definition, solution in Serre-Ponçon. When we had to explain to the farmers, and you will find that in the case, that it was necessary, we are committed to give to these farmers in the heat period, let's say summer, 200 million cubic meters as a, for the farms. Okay, around Serre-Ponçon. But we also learned with them and explained how useful it would be to try to get less use of water for their own crops and to try to save water. And we did it together. By the way, we co-finance it. But listen to the people. And the ministries will come after. And the international organization will come after. And the companies, businesses, will come after. And if you go to Nanteuil, somewhere around there must be the Pope of Nanteuil, who's the head of our hydro for the group, Jean-François Stolfi. He would be better than me saying that he lost is not the right term. He spent a lot of time talking with the people that we were going to resettle, 7,000 of them, to understand what they were looking for. Of course they were looking for light, because there was a new dam. But they were also looking for more health, and we put some health care on it. They were looking for education, and we put some little schools, etc. So I think really the real first lesson of Serre-Ponçon and Nanteuil is listen to the people who are involved, because at the end of the story, the same guy or the same lady is on the same time the one who's going to use the water, the one who needs the energy, and the one who's going to eat. So listen to the people. And number 2 and final lesson is to make it sustainable and to make the whole thing happen. Yes, you have to pay more than just the infrastructure, whether it's a hydro infrastructure for Bogota, whether it's a hydro infrastructure for anyone else, whether it's a water infrastructure, whether it's a transportation infrastructure. In Namtun, the overall cost of the whole project is 13%, 13% more expensive than the overall cost of the pure dam. What does it mean? It means that 13% around is CSR, corporate and social responsibility, which includes what I said about resettlement, etc. It costs more money, but number one, you have to put it in the whole project, which means explain to the other one, the international institution, World Bank if it is, or countries or whatever, that this cost is not the strength cost of the infrastructure, but the overall cost. And number two, you have to consider it as being the guarantee to have an acceptance of all stakeholders locally. Thank you.
Thank you, Gérard.